Yours.
There.
I'm not.
Oh. There, I'm better.
Perfect, perfect.
I'm just gonna let the owl capture me.
Ditto.
You're capturing.
Oui.
Yeah.
Right. Batteries actually. You've got it. We're too low batteries for me to trust it.
Okay.
It says I'm not connected.
To the internet, to.
Yeah, and I Bluff guest.
To the internet, you mean?
Yeah.
It's written right there, so it's Bluff.
Yeah, it's Bluff guest, and then guest 84512.
Why we thought, well, I didn't want to. Keep me here, keep me here.
That's good to remember. Oh, goodness.
It's not whatever. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hit record. Okay. And good evening, everyone. It is Thursday, June 4th. It is 6:03 p.m. This is the Bluff Planning and Zoning regular meeting. We will start with a roll call. Melina Collins, Chair.
Marcia Havenfeld.
Brian Whitney.
And Brown.
Fabulous. And we are eagerly awaiting our 5th commissioner.
Yeah, right.
We'll interview next week if anyone is interested in applying. But we'll get there. Okay, so we'll start with the approval of May 7th, regular minutes. I'll pull those up and share them.
I thought the wording on them was a little awkward in some places.
Okay,
I made a couple of changes substantively, but I still think the wording was a little weird.
okay. I see Hayden Felt made the motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Yeah, I want to make sure that we say that we made some changes.
Mhm.
Well, that's what I was approving, not what was in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll check mark those. And then moving down to update from town council, looks like you added the 1% sales tax increase in San Juan County specifically for EMS services. That's a good call.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't think he was just talking about Bluff. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, good.
Speak up if you don't agree with the change. I'm gonna continue to check mark. Looks like on number 3, finalization and vote to accept WUI, we have McLennan had created a map. McLennan said that including additional areas would create parity across developed town. Whitney saw both sides of the situation and questioned whether the commission's overlay would actually change the state's level 5 designation or be superfluous.
Wow, did I say that word? Just kidding. I know that's not how that works.
I think that's what he was saying.
Yes,
not
yes, it is.
remain.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was.
Yes, so I understood it as well.
Let's see, then,
Suggested a motion because it wasn't made because we already had one on the
Correct.
table.
well, in the next sentence, yeah.
And that's when
right,
she
yeah.
motioned. It was noted that it was a good thing there wasn't a tiebreaker since.
Well, it said it was noted that it was a good thing there wasn't a tiebreaker. Since
I don't-
only 4 well, it's a good thing there wasn't a tie, since there's only 4 commissioners and
Oh, I see.
it, I guess
Since
it
only
works
4
either way,
commissioners.
but
Yeah,
it doesn't, it was noted that it was a good thing there wasn't a tie. Since only 4 commissioners were in attendance.
that works. That gets to the point that was made.
Yeah, whatever, like I said, just some of the wording came out weird.
With
May 11th.
edits due Monday, May 11th to be included.
Cause I think it said something like, for which to be.
For which to be. I always have a word telling me that I'm using too many words. I erased with the disappointment because expressed frustration with the disappointment with late submission.
Yeah,
So that
no,
was redundant.
good catch, that does seem weird, yep. Express frustration with late submission, yep, perfect,
Perfect, wow, good.
nice, good catch, okay.
Well, then I would make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The minutes are approved as amended. Good work, team. Okay, moving along, public comment. Does anyone in the audience have a public comment they would like to make? If so.
Agenda.
More of a public question, to which I do not need the answer.
If you want to come a little bit closer, so I'll let all of our recorders catch you and things.
Certainly.
If you could state your name.
Hello, Stephen Reel, citizen of Bluff.
Fabulous.
I have a question to which I do not expect the answer today. And as many of you know from casual conversation, my wife and I own a tiny home that is currently in Montana that would like to move down here to Bluff. And in our preliminary discussions about making that work, we've received some contradictory information that I believe is rooted in a contradiction in the actual planning and zoning code. If I could draw your attention to section 6.40.10, subsection A. It says in part, where permitted, mobile homes, modular homes, or tiny houses shall be permitted as a use by right as a primary dwelling or as an accessory dwelling unit in all zoning districts in which a residential dwelling or ADU are permitted uses. It goes on with some stipulations. Then in subsection B, RV and tiny houses, where allowed, recreational vehicles and tiny houses on wheels or tiny houses shall only be placed or used as a dwelling in authorized recreational vehicle parks or mobile home parks. And in my interpretation, the first section suggests they can be placed in any residential zone, and the second section suggests it has to be in an RV or mobile home park. So we are looking for clarification as to what the actual allowed place is.
Interesting.
Fabulous.
Okay.
Thank you so much for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
We
and
are
we'll
writing.
add that to our next time's agenda, and we'll discuss a little bit further. Thank you for giving us some homework.
Yes, thank you for your consideration.
What is your time?
I'm sorry, 2 months.
And do you have a specific place you are looking at?
We're currently considering, the most likely scenario for right now is for October to move it to an established mobile home park or RV park. And this is more of a preliminary investigation for in the future, if we wish to move it off of that lot that we will be renting to potentially land that we will be purchasing. What kind of land will we need to purchase to be in accordance with the code?
Dog, the birthday.
For
Yes,
sure.
that
Yes.
does make a lot of sense, and I appreciate you pointing out a seemingly, seeming disunion of the code. So,
We're so proud of our code, and then we read it and go, who wrote this?
I know, right?
It's okay.
yeah. Well, yeah, I think proper thing is to let's discuss it next time, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right,
Perfect.
thank you,
Thank you so much
Stephen.
for being here.
I appreciate you pointing that out.
Stephen Real.
And a
Stay
friend,
safe.
and you leave with a friend.
We'll see
Yeah,
you tomorrow.
We're leaving.
Cool.
All right, moving on to number 1, old business, review and vote on sign permit request by Sweetwater Market.
There's
And I
no,
believe we have someone here from Sweetwater Market
Yes.
with us.
you don't have any public.
Kelly, if you'd like to go ahead and step forward as well, just so that all of our recording
One
devices.
quick question.
catch you up.
I
Yeah,
just saw there were some participants online, so I just wanted to make sure there was no public
oh,
comment.
good point.
That
Anyone fine, want to make a public
most
comment?
likely not, but I just wanted to make sure.
I think it's just us.
Yeah, I
and I
think
think
it's-
I
that's.
just,
fair.
oh, that's just all, that's, sorry, I just saw the 3 participants and I
Yeah.
just wanna make sure that, sorry. I was-
Thank you for checking. You're good, Kelly, come on
All right,
up.
Kelly.
All right,
Oh, he's in the hot cycle.
Yeah.
Well, I hope
Watch out,
I'm
that-
gonna need a chair, actually.
Okay.
It's.
Don't get too close to the owl, that's all. That's all.
Oh,
No, I
so
don't-
I have brought up the sign
Perfect.
Yeah.
permit, and so, would you mind introducing it for us, and then we'll go from there?
yeah, well, my name's Kelly Martin with Sweetwater Market. I propose to put a sign. Basically the exact size, everything, as what we had on the building a couple years ago for Home Ridge. And basically that's it, and dimensions, everything here. 3x12, you know. Kind of simple.
Perfect.
Great.
Marie, does it, if you're looking at the front of the building,
Mhm.
we used to go in the restaurant here, but now we're going in Sweetwater here. Where is it on the, is it closer to the Sweetwater end? Is that what you're saying?
It's, just a little closer, yes.
Okay,
Okay, yeah. So it's got the original, there's lighting there, which electric and everything is there. And basically, instead of the before, it was lights shining up to it. And this time, we'll just take that same power to the lights shining down to dark sky
okay,
compliance.
Marvelous.
Perfect.
okay.
Thank you, thank you.
Then you have those, thank you, yeah, thank you for sending the additional information.
Right.
Yes.
Cause I think everything is here now.
And I see that you're pulling up our sign ordinance so that we can double check what we're seeing here.
Yeah,
And he's in a C2 or a C3?
3 when I looked it up.
Okay.
Three, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, right on the highway is,
Yeah.
is pretty much,
C3 on the
You're right,
website.
three.
so you're
Yeah.
right, it's all three. And so we have plenty of square feet there.
Yes, I did the math, we're at like 36 square feet if my multiplication was correct.
Right,
I checked the max height from the ground and you are below the 20 feet, so you fit there. And this is a building mounted, and so C table sign A, and so you are able to have that building mounted. Oh, wait, sorry, that's a zone allowed in
Yeah.
A.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm like, wait, the tables are just sending us back and forth. Oh, no.
Go
That's
to
not
eight,
gonna
no,
work.
It's like a loop of tabling.
See, that's-
go to
Yeah,
eight,
no, I
it has a tiny home on it.
So the size is 80, so it's, yeah, you're well.
Yeah,
above.
well within that.
Cool.
And if I understand correctly, you guys are going to be removing all of the other signs that you currently have, all of the other temporary signs. So those on the truck, those on,
eventually, yes, we
Okay.
plan on,
okay.
yes. Because
Um,
they're really just not good enough,
right,
it's just to get it going.
Okay.
Well, you don't exceed the 86 with what exists now. The 36 you're gonna put in, you don't have 50 more.
Right,
So it wouldn't be terrible.
and there is no maximum total square footage of all signs on, in a C3.
no,
Oh,
no,
in the
it,
C3, yeah.
eventually on the pole that was there, we do plan on eventually. Maybe putting a sign in as well, but
Okay.
within the guidelines.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, you could put a pretty big sign next to it, according to that chart.
Mhm.
Malia, why were you asking that question?
Well, the truck specifically is actually a non-conforming
Non-conforming.
because of the location. So if you're prohibited, let me see.
Yep, or which are attached to fixed tilly pole, like a tree, rock, or natural feature signs that blink.
If I remember correctly.
Or did they take that out?
Yeah,
I think they might have taken on
I believe at one time our code said a sign on a vehicle.
I think they struck that.
They took that
No
out.
longer on here. Oh, okay. Well, then never mind that one.
You're actually right.
Another question, I noticed as I drove by yesterday that you guys do have an illuminating light that says Sweetwater Market and says open. Is that one also going to stay?
We have one that says
Yeah, the open sign.
Sweetwater, we do have one. That's compliant, for the cottages,
Mhm,
but not a night one. For the Sweetwater, no.
mhm.
Well, the one that
No, the
I
hanging,
think she's talking about is the one that's
The neon.
at the end of the building, close to where you walk in, that lights up when you're open.
The word, is it the word open?
It's
Yeah.
open and then it also has Sweetwater written on it.
No,
Yeah.
there is none like that. Now, there might be sometimes when someone comes at night, a light that comes on as security. But that's nothing to do with the other.
No, I think the one she's talking.
I don't know
about-
what you're talking
Like a
about.
neon light.
Neon, your white neon one that says Sweetwater Market that says open. I think.
Oh, that
the
one.
Open sign.
Yeah,
I'm trying to see what.
and
are-
what about it? I'm
Is
sorry.
what are
that,
the-
that one is also going to stay?
I plan on it for now,
Okay.
yes.
Well, yeah, what are our rules about open signs? I forget, we had that. in
But you
too.
can have them.
Staying? You can, I know you can, I just didn't remember if there was a size or a.
I'm sorry, I was
Yeah,
Thinking
you're
you're-
fine.
Anyway, a light shining down. on me.
Oh, okay, I gotcha, yeah.
I mean, I think that sign is really necessary
Mm-hmm.
from my perspective.
Oh, yeah, an
Allow
open
people
sign is,
that- To know you're there, that you're open.
Mhm.
Yeah, trying to get people to understand that the
That's where
entrance
the
is
door
over
is.
there,
Right. Right.
not
To
the original where
yeah,
the
to
restaurant
restaurant,
was.
yeah.
generally speaking, an open sign is usually not too big of a problem, as long as it's within the right dimensions, because it gets,
And it's
it gets
very-
turned off when you're closed.
Yeah.
Right,
And it works
Yes.
very effectively from my point of view,
Oh, good.
without being, no, it is, it's
Well,
very
cause it's a
without
form of
being too
wayfinding sign.
obtrusive.
Alright, well, I mean, in that case, I'm wondering if we have any, do we have more?
Well, she's checking.
Oh, you're looking for the, okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
checking the dark sky, the exterior lighting ordinance.
Okay, cool.
For neons lights, but I think that's totally on point. I think it's as long as it's just there
In the.
while you're open.
Yeah, if it's
Then it's
open hours, right, I've never seen it, I mean, it would be foolish to leave an open sign on.
Open, yeah. In fact, it's one
You
of
might
those,
not enjoy it.
It's
when they
one of
start
those-
knocking on your
No,
door.
but
it's one of
It's there
those
to
go to
sleep
bed
in.
and go, darn, did you turn the sign on?
I'm also like, did they take out the language about open signs in here too, cause I can't find it in the,
Use the word
I
search.
think it was taken from the
Yeah.
sign ordinance and is just in
dark sky.
the exterior lighting.
That's the one, alright, well,
Let's see, except when used and no signage pursuant to subsection of this chapter, neon or luminous tube lighting, either when outdoor mounted on signs or architectural elements. Visible behind, oh, I'm trying to figure out what the rest of the sentence is, prohibited except when used in window signage. Okay. So that's,
Then that's good.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's all, it sounds like there's nothing,
Is it in the window? No, it's
No.
on
it's in the frame of the awning.
the, I'm trying to picture
It
it.
hangs from a beam of
porch,
the
yeah.
porch, so it's in a framed portion of the.
and it
not
says
in a-
either when outdoor mounted or on signs or architectural elements.
Yeah.
So.
Okay,
I think, I think that fits. One other question, when you guys turned in this sign permit application, did you guys also pay? Did you guys already submitted the fee?
I couldn't answer that.
Okay. I
That would
wasn't
be
in town and so I haven't got.
there's
a
not,
clear
there's
answer
no,
yet.
there's been no fee submitted
Okay,
from my knowledge, but I would figure Aaron would have been the person who would have seen that
Yeah.
more likely than me.
Well,
Andrea is normally very on top of it.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
and there, all it has to be, should we decide we're doing this,
Yeah.
it should be, you can't have the signed piece of paper till
Right.
we have the
Right,
fee,
yeah.
so
for sure.
we would be fine
Yeah.
that way.
I think, wasn't that mentioned that it needed to be paid or submitted with the application?
Correct.
Then I'm pretty positive
Okay.
it's done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll check with Aaron tomorrow. and-
We had talked about that, and so she was definitely gonna do that. And, you know,
Where is the sign?
Sure, I
permit
trust you.
fee? Cemetery.
Sign permit per sign, $50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we-
And so to bring that up, if you guys do decide to do another sign, we would ask you to come back to
Oh, yeah.
us for each one. Okay. Okay, anyone else have any questions? Thank you for entertaining all of mine.
No,
I appreciate your downward facing light. That is,
Yeah, I like the goosenecks, it'll look
Yeah.
like a nice sign.
yeah.
Then I would make a motion to approve the. Sign permit application from. Sweetwater Market as contingent on receiving, contingent just that. We check to make sure the payment has been received.
I'd second.
Fabulous. Any discussion? I actually see Aaron's hand is raised.
Oh my,
Where'd she come from?
what, my goodness, Aaron's on the internet. Should
Okay.
we-
Hey there. I saw that, there was question perhaps regarding that neon sign.
Yes.
We can't hear
Oh
you.
no, where'd you go?
No, we lost you, right?
hello,
Hello?
Can you hear me
I
now?
don't think we should. Now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wrong speaker. It sounds like there was a question perhaps regarding that neon sign.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you just reiterate? Sorry, I was reading through the closed captioning and didn't have the audio on.
Yes, so the question was, is that neon sign going to remain? And the answer was yes. And so we checked the exterior lighting ordinance and it is eligible, it works.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
Therefore, we
so
don't.
if it's
We don't-
eligible, it still just needs to go through the sign ordinance, which is under 6.01.140 signs, electric signs or neon signs that comply with the outdoor lighting ordinance that are 4 square feet or less, are exempt from a sign permit. More than 4 square feet would require a permit and the fee to be paid. So is it more than 4 square feet? Is it bigger than 2 foot by 2 foot?
The other thing,
the neon.
This-
oh yeah, it's
Yeah, that's the distinction, okay.
2 by, actually 1.5 by 3. Something like that, about 2 by 3, so it's,
3 square, 3
Yeah.
point.
so
something.
6 square feet.
Okay, so it'll
Max.
also require a sign permit. And then you guys would just want to refer to that section A subsection C, and just make sure that it fits everything else that sign permitting ordinance would require.
Perfect. Thank you for catching that, Erin.
Any other questions while I'm on audio for right now?
Yes, did you receive payment for this one?
I have not received payment for this one. If it did come through mail, sometimes it takes a little bit.
Mhm.
But nothing was dropped off in person, to my knowledge.
Okay, perfect. So we'll just, before we sign off on this one, we'll just need that 50, so. Sounds good. Anyone else have any questions for Erin?
So I guess my question is, are we talking about, they put up a sign they thought was legal and missed the measurement determination?
Right.
Okay, so we're not talking malice aforethought here, we're talking catching this measurement thing. Okay, so we're just okaying this one tonight.
Correct.
You'll go home and measure if you need
Yes.
to, you'll bring it to.
Step one is I'm gonna go. Select some wares later, I'm gonna take it.
So the amount,
Yes.
she says she did not pay because she didn't, it was hazy on how much,
Okay,
Okay.
okay, so
you
I
just.
kinda need that.
$50.
It's in our master fee schedule.
50?
Not, yeah, so it's $50 per sign.
Okay.
And if it-
That's a-
and so when he comes back with the other application, should he need it for the neon sign, will it be a second 50?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's per sign.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
so we have a motion still on the table. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
All right,
Any nay?
See, you needed it.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much for being here and
Thank you.
presenting.
thanks, Erin.
Once we receive that payment, I'll get that signed off and get it right over to you guys.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much for being here.
have a good day.
All righty, perfect. Moving right along.
So just a comment
Yes.
is, it feels like we need to watch the pieces from both of these where all of a sudden, because first of all, I didn't know about the other signs, so when you guys brought it up, I'm like, wait, what sign? But
Open and close sign.
yeah, so we just need, and this is probably part of our public education discussion we were having of. Once we get all these things cleaned up, we need to tell people that they need to comply. And it's their responsibility to, they could have come to us and said, "Oh, we have this little neon thing, what does it take?" kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, because obviously I missed it because I didn't know about the sign, but yeah. Okay,
Yeah, and something I wish I would have mentioned while he was here is I guess we should review the definition of a temporary sign. It's how long that means it can stay up.
what's temporary out there?
We had written, didn't we write that? I guess this is what happens when it gets translated from what we write to what lands.
Right.
Because we
Gets
had
passed.
included language about temporary signs.
Is it in the
Right.
definitions of the sign?
Yeah,
ordinance? It should be.
Yeah.
Let me pull it back up.
It says temporary signs, like temporary event signs, are not to exceed 2 calendar days.
Generally speaking, like grand opening counts, like it shouldn't,
Totally.
there's usually an extended period through which you can do that so that you can. I thought we had written that, but I guess it didn't, I guess I haven't actually read the final.
Right,
I guess
it's
I can
a
go
sign
through
that's
those.
not permanently affixed to the ground, a building or other structure, including any sign that rests upon the ground, a frame, a building or another structure item.
Yeah.
And intended to advertise a transitory event,
Yeah.
business, cause or purpose, but I guess we didn't
That's
put
the-
in here.
But then there's nothing that
specifically
actually says what,
How long that
Yeah.
actually is. Unless our table has that information,
Did we
duration.
put it there?
No.
No.
I think we originally had it in there, but
That's what that too. Alright, well, that's another thing to sort of think about. I would also say that. Having to ping pong between two ordinances to try and sort out. What you're supposed to do in terms of lighting and signs. Is a big ask to then expect people to know exactly what to do.
Right.
I think it's hard enough to know what to do when it's clear. So I think any way we can, I mean, that's just the thing is we go forward with what we're
I
doing.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're messing up within two sections of one bill, and we're messing up for sure, you know, bringing them to
Yeah.
two different bills to.
But
I mean, it's one thing to say you must comply with sign ordinance, which must comply with dark sky ordinance. So you have to check both, but cross-referencing both is not, that's an example of it. I think.
right.
and I think I can see the argument for both sides, because say that exterior lighting ordinance changes. And we are copying and pasting into this sign ordinance, then which one do you follow?
Mhm.
And so there's a reason that we have actually just said, you need to reference this other ordinance. But it does still make it more difficult when we are asking the public to
Yep.
review their own signs or review their own things and then ask us. And then know when to come to us,
Yeah.
so.
Well, and I think a good preview of that is Steve came to us to ask a question way before they want to actually place their
Mhm.
home, because it's confusing. So we're gonna get people who go, look, we're about to put up a sign and we're confused, you know, and we'll keep,
Yeah.
so those are things that we can be watching for as we do these corrections and updates. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay, sorry, we need to
No.
move along, yeah.
This is good. Things are happening,
stuff.
good conversation.
Mhm.
Let me find our agenda again, find where I am on the agenda. I know that you guys are looking at
I
it,
try
but,
to,
Interviews.
oh, okay, thanks. My screen says, number 2, discussion of planning and zoning midterm vacancy and reminder of interviews June 18th. So, as we are all aware, we have a midterm vacancy. Kayla McLennan had to relocate for work, and so we do have that vacancy. Reminder to the public, you are welcome to submit an a letter of intent,
Yeah,
and it's due by Monday, June 15th, the Monday before that Thursday meeting.
okay.
I think the 15th is right, by
Yeah.
5
Has there
o'clock.
been any interest?
I haven't received any letters yet, but I have had discussions with people saying that they would like to put a letter in, so
Okay.
there's hope.
No applications, just hope.
Yes.
there's no. application.
Hope is good. Hope is
Glad
good.
to know we're not hopeless.
I will not be here.
Who's hope? Where does she live?
Yeah, exactly.
But I
We
will
get hope
be-
on for CNC.
Okay,
Be out of town.
we'll go over that in a little bit, because there's gonna be some best practices coming up in number 2 under new business. Yeah, anyone else have any thoughts on the midterm vacancy?
Are we using the same questionnaire and you'll send it out for that meeting on our agenda, and we'll each be assigned the question because we're so good at it.
Because we're so good. Yes.
Good.
Exactly right. Number 3, update and discussion amongst commissioners on those zoning code revisions, which turns out we really need.
Yeah, the tiny home and, sorry.
Would you bring, if we're gonna talk about it specifically for a few minutes,
Yeah.
that is the one to bring up,
Yeah.
just to see what he said.
Yeah, let's look-
But I think our discussion is, we need to get to work on this as a group in our work, you know, we didn't have a work session, which is fine, but Cause frankly, as I mentioned before, I'm lost and therefore I think we all need to,
I do think that's part of it, right? It's like
we-
how, yeah, how do we even move
yeah, we
forward? with
need
it?
to.
Cause it's a
regroup.
big ask and then.
And we started off with a good plan of
Right.
you two do this. you
Right,
two
and then we
that.
lost.
And then everybody left and I was like, well, wait a minute, you
Right.
know, so.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the point of the research I did on comparable towns ordinances. So they were, I think, 5 towns that kind of fit our similarity in terms of size of population, square miles,
Acres, yeah,
whatever,
so make-
geographic similarity. Close to recreation and tourism, in Utah. Since we do have to comply with state laws. And I think the one glaring similarity amongst all of them is they're very simplified ordinances. I mean, they may have had 10 or 15. And not that they're good, bad, or indifferent, but it just, these examples we're dealing with points to the fact that we have way too much stuff.
You can have a sign or you can't have a sign. It's, you know, somewhere in there, we have to
Right,
bring it down to size.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So we need-
So we, oh, go ahead, Alice.
well, so the question is, should we continue to try to do this as we had originally planned by these groups?
No,
Or not.
we're not ready to do, I mean, I feel like we're not ready to do that because of a couple of things. Things like, for example, we were suggested that we might tear apart the definitions and some of these things to condense down. And then we were told through Chris, definitions are very important if it's in your, you know, so right there, it stopped me in my tracks of,
Yeah,
well, how do I simplify that?
Yeah.
So I felt like it left me wanting to talk amongst ourselves for the plan. Because when we made the initial plan, yeah, Caitlin and I were gonna look at something, well, maybe that something isn't going to be in the new plan.
right,
We were told to look at site plans or something. Site plans probably don't need to be, as you know, this whole thing in there. So how do I take it out if we don't know if we've discussed it?
Yeah.
So I'm feeling like this is what we need to do to find out where we're going, and maybe even using the funny tiny home language as a good example of how I fix that.
Yeah.
well, and what we were doing is zoning related. And that was very glaring in these other towns, you know, they had. You know, one agricultural
Right.
zone,
Mention-
one commercial zone,
Yeah.
one residential zone. And, you know, you look at ours and it's, I mean, there's, there's very little difference between
Yeah.
agricultural 1, 2, 3.
Right,
I
right,
mean,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
okay, why do we need 3? Anyway. I think my concern is that being a newbie in this, I feel a little concerned about going, well, why do we have this?
Right.
Let's just have one, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, what's the backstory on why we felt at that time these things had to be done that way?
Yep, good point.
You know, you hate to throw away something that had validity, but maybe it doesn't anymore, who knows, I don't know, but that concerns me. Because I'd like to know more.
Yeah.
It's been pointed out in the real world of things that zoning codes and many others are living documents to be updated as the needs change and other things change. And we're coming from ground zero of these that you guys wrote before. Well, yeah, there's none of us from that first iteration of planning members who actually wrote it. And it behooves us to go, you guys did an amazing job of doing this, but we've noticed that we don't need two commercial zones. There's just build your commercial store here.
Yeah.
Or agricultural. So I think we're in a good position to take what you saw in the ones you compared, you guys, to what the initial thought was of breaking things up that don't need broken.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing us pulling a lot of that language out that, which goes back to definitions.
Right.
You know?
I'll chat with a couple of the original members. Cause I chat with a couple of them kind of on a regular
Yeah.
basis and see where they maybe got some of this original zoning from. And just try to get an
Yeah.
idea, so then we can at least have a reference, so that we're not pulling something out just for them to say, wait, we had this in there because state code said we have to, or something, you know, so.
Well,
I
and that's
just have
really
the
the
background.
reason that I tried to look at apples and apples.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
obviously, for us to look at towns that are, you
Yeah.
know, just because they're small, but they're right in the Wasatch, I mean, it's a way different thing than, you know, where Canaraville is and
Yeah.
some of these other towns.
Torrey and Teasdale.
Yeah,
little bit.
Tory.
Yeah. Cool. So see, we're getting there right there, is
Mhm.
getting, sitting around to make these answers happen. And if you pull out the Tory 5 pages, you know, and go, look, it says the same thing we say, you can have a house in a residential district, then we're good, you know, and we can use a lot of that. And maybe one of us is reading along in the state code, you know,
Yeah.
and going up, says you can have a house there, let's
Yeah.
do it. All the changes for tiny homes and ADUs, that's a big deal out
Right.
of state law this past year.
Yeah.
And so we need to make sure that we allow ADU tiny home stuff of affordable housing, you know, that's their keyword.
Right.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing up the state code, because something to keep in mind when you're reviewing these other towns' ordinances and things is they might not be. in compliance with the state code.
Right.
And so it is also important that as we're going through ours, that we are making sure that we still are.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, great.
so what does
Awesome.
this sentence say?
Oh, yes.
There is a pretty, I believe there's a distinction between the two sentences.
Okay. Where permitted.
I don't think they're just saying, they're not just
Okay,
contradicting each other.
okay.
Are we back looking at Steve's?
Right, we're using it as an example of are the sentences that we use so confusing. So sentence A is where where you're allowed to have a dwelling, then mobile homes, modular homes, and tiny homes can be that dwelling.
Yes.
And it can be that dwelling or the accessory dwelling,
Yeah.
and that's what A says, okay? Now, B says, RV and tiny houses where allowed, recreational vehicles, tiny houses on wheels or tiny houses shall only be placed or used as a dwelling in authorized recreational vehicle parks or mobile home parks. They may be, okay, except that RVs or THOWs may be placed as a special exception. They may be parked and occupied for a period not to exceed 24 consecutive hours on a public street. They have obtained a building permit for construction of a dwelling so they can live in their THOW for that year. Or non-operable RVs and THOWs may be used as storage structures, not dwellings. Or no more than one THOW may be, keep going down a little bit, may be placed or occupied as a dwelling with the permission of land for a short 30, unoccupied and non-conforming. So I think A and B do mix you up. for
Yeah,
sure.
well, because of the inclusion of the word tiny houses after or.
Right. Had it not said that, because we specifically said tiny houses on wheels to include with RVs.
Well,
Tiny houses to be included with modular and mobile homes.
but as an example, I know that Steve's house is on wheels. And they're gonna truck it down here and they don't have the wheel on them, but whatever. But use it, let's say it's on wheels even, I don't know, can't confirm it's. Anyway,
It is on those, yes.
But it can, yeah, but it can be their, I mean, they want to live in this house. They're so cute. I said, really? After living, in
Yeah,
a big 2-bedroom for, no, we want a house back. It's like, great. But it's a small place on wheels and they should be allowed to live on it in this rental play, in a rental space at the moment. And then they're looking for land.
I agree with you 100%. As this is written, I think this is written incorrectly.
Yeah,
I think that this is saying basically that it's making a distinction between mobile homes, modular homes, and tiny houses, and then RVs and tiny houses on wheels. And
yeah.
in my opinion, that is a silly thing to do in a time where we're trying to come up with ways to get more people here to be able to afford to live here, and if they
Yeah.
already have this house. I think though that I certainly think it's important that we, if someone's gonna have a permanent, an RV or a tiny house on wheels, a permanent structure as their primary, dwelling. It should have to go through a rigorous, like, utilities hookup, and there should still be permitting involved. You should still have to build a hookup that involves
And
an
it says,
electrical inspection.
shall be connected to utilities, have
Right.
adequate access to public
Exactly.
roads, yep.
So I think that it should include, I don't understand why that distinction, and my understanding of Utah State Code. Well, this is one where, as it's written, Bluff is more conservative than Utah State.
I'm beginning to think that too,
Yeah.
because in that same discussion, I was just mentioning about how they're trying to do affordable homes out of the state
Right,
legislature, so they did ADUs. I think they included language of small
Right.
RV modular,
right,
meaning that they're saying you must allow people to live in what they want to live in on their land,
that's, yeah.
and then, so.
To me, I don't even understand how this is legal. I don't understand how it's legal for us as a. Maybe I'm wrong and someone can explain to me how it is, but I don't really understand how it is that I, could say to someone who owns. A slice of property here, if they're safely using an RV on their property, how could I possibly say that that couldn't be their primary dwelling?
Right.
I'm gonna
I
give us
feel
one
that
more
we-
minute on this topic.
Sorry, yeah. But it's another, but I think the bigger point is though, this is another example though of both making just another small slice into the need to make sure both we're compliant with the state, but
Right.
also we aren't just
We're fair.
recklessly. Just like recklessly regulating things that don't need to be
Yeah.
regulated.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway,
Okay, so having said all that, the idea would be this should be our work session information.
Correct, yeah, so let's talk about this at the work session, and something that I recall with writing this, which I'm quite bummed that it did not, I feel like that when our ordinance and the way it reflected into the zoning
yeah,
ended up very different. But anyways,
Oh,
that's what,
because we were writing the RV stuff,
right.
boom, and
Yeah,
then it
pulled
went
and then it
into the
was
zone.
transposed
And I
into
think this could
zoning, and that,
legitimately even
is-
just be like
Where-
accidental.
yeah, I think
It
that's where the
seems
misstep
so
was.
accidental to me, like the fact that tiny houses is an A and B, like Stephen pointed out,
Yeah.
so.
And so I think what we were trying to get at with number B
Yeah.
is that we basically were saying you can't create an RV park on your land without actually having an RV park. And what happened? We have too many words in there.
No, you're exactly right, because we said,
Yeah.
no, we don't want people building hookups in their yard
Right.
and having, in a residential neighborhood. We wanted them.
And I think this is the distinction also with the language choice of where permitted and where allowed. And that's also just like,
What?
why are we starting our sentences with where permitted? And immediately, we're also losing everybody. This is like in medicine, the whole movement now is to chart simply. Like, there's no reason for you to write in a chart something that someone else can't read and understand. So like speaking in a way, we don't have to be bureaucratic for the sake of being bureaucratic.
Right,
We can write things.
Good. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So I think
good.
that's another thing to think about as we write in the
Yeah.
future.
Cool. We're all so smart.
Well,
perfect.
Let's-
We know what some of these terms mean.
We're all so smart that we wrote that.
So can I ask a silly question?
Of course.
So we don't have an HOA where we live now. But we did when we bought our property. So that, where, I'm not, I don't need an answer. It's just a question of, I'm wondering.
How
do we
HOAs fit
even
in?
have any other HOAs in town? I don't even know. But if there was, that adds another layer of, cause like we couldn't have. Any sort of a. Tiny home, called a tiny home, anything on wheels. That was not affixed to the ground, so you could have a tiny home, obviously Jamie lives in one. But, they can't be on wheels with that old HOA. So I just think it's interesting.
I can answer that is that HOAs hold no water, no, town municipalities, counties and other entities hold no control over private HOAs. So if your entity, meaning the Sand Dune Acres that I Coral Sands Acres, has an HOA, if it was still an HOA run thing, then you could not have the thing on wheels because that's your HOA, except for two things. Number one, it would be up to your HOA to enforce it, so you'd have to have, you know,
Right.
Right.
Jamie running around with a stick and beating up people with RVs. And or, number two, double checking the language in the new state law that I was mentioning here, because I think they overrode HOAs.
Are you
Oh.
sure?
I'm not sure.
I don't know about that.
I think they said we're going to override because we're trying to provide
Yeah,
excuses for more houses. Now, having said that, maybe they only did that for actual permanent ADUs as opposed to on wheels ADUs. So what I'm saying is HOAs hold no water for us. We don't care what you do on your HOA because we can't enforce it.
but,
if.
but and with that, HOAs can only be more restrictive, not less. Than a municipality, right? Cause you still have to follow all the
Right, you
municipality,
can.
county and
But
state.
you don't get to,
But you can-
you don't get to ignore.
You don't
Yeah.
get to choose to ignore, you can only be more restrictive as an
Well,
HOA,
then that's
not
also
less.
about you as the homeowner also entering into an HOA contract where you're
Right.
saying, I agree to these rules.
To follow this. I
So-
agree
I
to have
think
this
as a
type of
fundamental
landscaping.
baseline,
Well, I don't wanna.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a town can legislate a way that it just.
No, a
Yeah.
town
I don't
can't.
think
I
so.
think the state federal law
Right,
might have been able to.
oh, override, okay.
Override. A town cannot. We can say you can have you can have tiny homes on wheels. Because we're trying to accommodate
Right.
things. Your piece of land, your 10 lots. Can say no things on wheels and you'd get kickback because people would say, well, the states. So you'd have to double check the state
Right.
stuff. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
We're just not.
Great question. Moving on, new business number 1, discuss and collect feedback for finalization of Bluff's interactive zoning map as drafted by the Utah Geospatial Resources Center. First off, thank you so much to the Utah Geospatial
Yes.
Resources Center. Emma, she is doing an amazing job with this. I'm going to pull this map
Please.
up. And I chatted with Erin a little bit before this because she was in communication with Emma on Monday, bringing up a couple of things.
Good.
The first thing being she's asked if Emma is able to get a WUI overlap from the state so that we can have that as one of our overlays
Yeah.
of that structure.
Well, once
Oh, this is
it's
the one that-
approved.
Yeah, well, I mean, regardless, even just bringing in that structural map, because it's,
Okay,
or it's still just, the
This
fives
is
are
the
here, the
one-
4s are there, the 6s are there.
That.
you wrote where
that-
your roads. Can you, yeah.
So on that,
Okay.
Aaron has also reached out to Emma asking road names, where are they coming from? Is that the issue? You're not seeing your road names correctly, or
At all.
we're not
Okay.
seeing?
We don't have roads. We don't have names on there for our roads.
Okay, so we have West Cottonwood Avenue, and then
Yes.
here, where my mouse is,
Yeah.
we need a
I'm-
road name there, and then we also need this road
Yeah.
name.
So.
And then we
it's
also need some
firstly
lots.
there Is that name theoretically, I think, if I am correct here,
Mhm.
that goes from, 191 to our road, which is called South Mesa View Lane.
Okay.
Or no, Mesa View Lane, there's a south and a north.
Okay.
Hard to believe, but there.
Mesa View Lane, and then is the other one Prickly Pear, is that what you said?
Yeah, the one that goes from 191.
Yeah,
Is that correct, Aaron?
she might not be able to jump in.
I'm pretty sure. That's what we've been calling it because at some point, I think she told me that.
And so if I understand correctly, we also need to get some lot distribution here as well, because we just have that one large swath of residential. And you guys actually have some lots divided here.
Yes,
So we'll
there
need her
are
to,
5.
okay, also need to add that. And then one more thing, I'll get to you soon,
No,
Marcia.
go.
The other thing
You're
that
probably
Aaron-
gonna answer it.
The other thing that Erin has chatted with Emma and told her, asked her to put it on low on her priority list is an airport overlay. And then
Mm,
also that aviation facility overlay.
mhm.
Because we do have that airport overlay
Yep.
ordinance that specifically addresses the airport.
Yep,
And I don't know too much more about it, and the aviation facility overlay or ordinance or
mhm.
something is saying that you can't build a structure within 200,
2
2
miles
miles,
of center, well,
yes, something
2
like that.
miles of.
I know there's a 2 in it. So she's
Like-
asked her to put that on her, lower on her priority list, but if she could also get an overlay for that added to this map.
Perfect.
So those are the 3 things that she has chatted with Emma about. What have you guys seen? Sing your praises? Go ahead.
I have praises that this is so fun and excellent.
yeah.
Because I just had a friend over the other day doing some notary work on some land things, and I'm going, where is this? After they left, I looked it up
Nice.
and I found it. Anyway, so, but it led me to a couple of things.
Okay.
Would you in fact blow up my house, blow up that corner there of the residential?
How about I
corners?
zoom in?
There, now that you've blown up my house, okay. Here's my question,
Okay.
boys and girls. According to this map, my house goes into Fouché property.
Uh-oh.
And according to this map, okay, as you can see, that my house is a perfect example of my question. Like, huh? Okay, so here's a couple of responses. One, a lot of this town was off grid. That whole, which Cottonwood subdivision, is that what they call it? The one that's askew everywhere,
Right,
and nobody
yeah.
has a real house, okay. But using my house as the only example I can attest to, we had ours surveyed and we were properly placed into our lot.
Right,
In fact, we ended up with Fouché trees, from next to the
yeah,
garage there, and which is all fine, but it's not showing that. And
Right.
I'm really worried about how so.
that's a good point.
Is this map, did it somehow slide in askew, or is it based on old knowledge of bad surveying? I'll just call it that. I don't
Yeah.
know that it was bad, but the wrong surveys. Cause that house sitting right there is my house with the wrong, there's my bunkhouse on the corner and there's my house in Fouché's lot. So that was my telltale. That was number 1.
Okay,
Number 2, would you go over to Amanda and Zach's house at the end of 4th there and blow them up?
we will zoom in.
Zooming in to, they're not at 6, they're for there. So it's Sagebrush 5th, yeah, 5th, and go down towards their land there. Okay, so when we approved Drew's, the subdivision of the Podmore stuff and gave Drew a line to live on, and we called it, at least in my mind, and I'm trying to, we called it an extension of 5th Street, that
Right.
he comes off 5th and take a right into his driveway.
Right.
And then recently I was told about some of the rest of and by the way, look at the houses that are offline on there too. I was recently involved in seeing some land exchange stuff of
The
lot
boundary
line
line
adjustments and
adjustments.
stuff. And it was there, and the people involved were going, well, no, Cause the alley is behind Amanda's place, but it's not, you can't get out of the alley, but you can get, and I thought, whoa. This is what I have asked for since I've been on the board here is give me these alleys, give me these weird roads. And so my question to map maker is, can we please have some indication of closed, non-conforming, what the road situation is that we don't see? Who has access to what? Because if you make this a little smaller and move over towards, Bob and Souza, we know that they have their little, right there, and it's, yeah, that little, the winding,
Yeah.
so one is off to Joe's, one is down to Bob and Souza. They're not labeled, they're not roads, so it's just an easement, as I understand it.
Right,
How do we assess that when we're working on something? If someone came to me right now, which we understood, for example, that Joe was interested in maybe subdividing a piece or something. If he had come, I wouldn't know how to describe the access to that. Or we know Dawn doesn't have access, or I need more information of what isn't working. Thank you, I'm done.
so basically for clarification, what would be helpful is maybe if we had like a Google map superimposed with this, to where we had a little bit more of like actual structures, or like, so we also saw where is this large tree, because we know that access can't necessarily go through that tree.
Well, no, that, I'm not
Okay.
as concerned with that because nobody built a road through a tree here. They do in the redwood forest. But I don't know who has access to some of that land. And one of the things that was amongst friends the other day was, well, that's my land. It's like, well, wait a minute, no, how did you get there? And it's not my job as a planning commissioner to stop people and go, I might ask, but I can't go, wait, what the heck are you doing? I'm just concerned.
Yeah,
The next person who comes along and either wants to buy a piece from that or. Yeah, I need something that identifies, oh, maybe private easements, closed alleys. What do they call it when the, dedicated, when you give away the alley, you,
I just had a, not,
abandoned alley,
alley.
abandoned
Yeah.
alleys, things like that.
yeah,
Some identification of who can get to these lots.
yeah,
So I'm still asking for that, please.
okay.
And, actually, this makes so much sense because there are, right now, someone's going to build out there in Copper Cliffs on one of the unmarked lots,
Mhm.
not on our street, but on Prickly Pear.
Further up.
And they also have, we actually have 3 people trying to build
Mhm.
in our area. They just can't find a builder. But there's promise of humanity. Anyway, we should definitely have those lots.
Oh, yeah,
But I agree with, when I think about it, driving over to some of those folks' homes.
What street are you on? Where do you
Yeah, I
live?
don't know.
And in particular, we've noticed alley problems, and a lot of those, some of those got cleaned up when we became a town. Well, identify them, or tell them they're closed and they're not through alleys. That means no access to that lot, or whatever you end up pointing to.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah, they're.
but the map itself is fabulous and it's great to be
Yeah.
able to look for where you're going.
It is cool. Looks like I own Cemetery Road.
Right there, they're sitting on the parcels then.
Right,
Right, you are the entire cemetery, really, very good.
this is my entire
Yeah.
lot.
No,
would
this
like-
is.
Jewel and
cool.
I share it.
We do not want to pay taxes on it.
Right, yeah. This is great. I'm so excited to have
It
this,
is
but
really
these are the
cool.
things we're
Yeah,
missing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is what she was asking for, so, Brian, do you have any?
I kind of feel the same way. I mean, I feel a little bit like we're also looking at it incomplete, so my hope is that those parcel overlays might get a little bit more refined there. Right now, the way I'm reading, the way the legend is popping up in the overlays, you can click on opposite, it looks like they just sort of overlaid the county's parcels directly onto it, so I'm assuming that's taken from county's map initially.
Say that again?
Well, if you can turn those, like the lines that Marcia was talking about that
Mm.
show the properties incorrectly. It's one of the overlays on the right side, and it's the Utah San Juan County parcels, so that's just the original.
Oh.
paper map.
It's this part.
So if you click that on and off. My guess is that if there's been adjustments to the parcels, it might also just be that we're just overlaying the county's current parcel map. So,
That's.
which is incomplete and incorrect,
Yeah.
and when you go to the county's website, so I think they're just showing that, so my guess is that they do a more. If there's a more accurate parcel map that they can pull from, but I don't think they're.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna be an issue of getting all those parcels in properly plugged in or accepting some small level of.
Right,
That's a good point. And so it also might be that that addresses the alley thing, is that
Right.
maybe there's another overlay that is specific. to
Yeah, maybe the
alley.
county has one of those already.
Yeah.
well, and we know from experience here, the county gave away a lot of our alley stuff.
yeah.
Right,
before we,
right, right,
Sort of had
exactly.
control,
And so. it'd be
and the
nice to
town
know.
said, whoa, we need to clean this up,
Yeah.
and I wanna know what got cleaned up, so, okay, good.
I hate to be a time.
Oh, I know, we gotta
person.
go.
Yeah.
7:03 and we have two more things.
We'll get through them quick. You're doing great.
I just, yeah,
I
definitely
understand.
wanna make sure I sign the.
Yep.
Gooey.
Okay,
The goo-
perfect. I'll get this info over to Emma
Cool.
tomorrow or early next week. So if you find anything else, let me know. But this map will always be owned by them. And so this is something that Aaron wanted me to remind everyone, because we are a small town and because we don't have a lot of capacity. This is something that they are going to own, and it is something that they are doing for us for free. So as we are asking for things, let's
Yeah.
also try to be reasonable.
Right.
And I think that our asks are reasonable at this time, but just in the future, as you're thinking of things like, oh, this would be amazing, also think this is a free service.
Well, and it's a free service right now that we could say. Eventually, we could pay for additions or
Right.
something if that, but great, okay,
Yeah.
cool, it's a great map.
It is a great map. It's so exciting. Number 2, discussion of shifting commissioner checks to quarterly and best practices for excused absences. So the first half of that is exactly what it is. So currently commissioner checks are monthly. And so Aaron is asking, would we be willing to get our checks quarterly instead of monthly?
Cool.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
Sounds
I
great.
will let her know.
Yeah.
And then for best practices for excused absences, just with what happened at our last meeting, that we weren't all able to make a quorum, that it didn't work out. From here on out, if you are not going to be at a meeting, if you could send it as an email to all commissioners and to Aaron, just so that it's in writing, I'm not gonna be here on this date. And, that will just ensure that that we have. it.
Yeah, and that's me, cause.
Well, that was
Found
great.
out it wasn't going to be a forum if I didn't come, and I was gonna be on Zoom, but I thought, hey,
Well, it was both of
so I
our,
apologize.
it was not just. you to take-
Yeah, you were not the only one that was absent.
No,
I was
you were
also-
not exactly, there was also someone
In order
else.
for us not to have. a
You were
quorum,
not the
you were
only
one
person
absent.
also. You were, yes, it was not just you.
No.
It's a good, we also just didn't have a good way of, I like that, that's great, just put it in writing. and
Yeah.
have it.
excuse me.
Yeah, just put it in
I'll
writing,
make sure I
send it
do
to all of
that
us,
before I
and we'll
go
from
on the
there.
river in the next couple of days.
Um,
No, I'll send an email to everybody, which days I'll be done.
And then quickly, this GOEO annual report, I'm sorry to put it on this
No,
agenda.
fine.
I have pulled up a letter that I am just asking. So this is Malia speaking in administrative director capacity. Our governor's office of economic opportunity is our $445,000 grant that we're currently spending, for the demolition and the window replacement and asbestos and fire suppression over at the, old elementary school, the Brick. And we are on year 3 of that grant. I will actually be closing it out at the end of, well, all of the funds have to be spent by the end of this month. I'll be closing it out within the 6 months after that. But because it's not closed out yet, with planning and zoning being the advisory board for the Rural Communities Opportunity Grant, I am asking that you guys review that report and I have almost completed it. There's a couple of dollar signs with X's next to them because I don't totally have those numbers figured out. And I might submit this later on next week when we've received a couple more invoices, so I really have it dialed in. But if you guys have any feedback or don't want to sign this yet, that's totally fine, but I'm asking that you sign off on.
I make a motion that the
Okay.
Planning and Zoning Commission signs off on the letter supporting our grant expenditures with the caveat that Malia is allowed time to answer missing number questions.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Okay.
The only thing I would say was just that if you wouldn't, I'm not gonna be here, so it's probably not, it's a moot point for me, but. You know, when you submit, when you put those numbers in. I'm sure you were already thinking this, but just mailing it around to everybody so that they can see the finalized. Just so there's a paper trail so that you did send it out to us all before, especially if it's gonna sign it, but. I trust
I
your
like
numbers. You haven't been charged with fraud yet, so.
I appreciate that.
And I can see the people working in there every day when I go to our business. I drive
See.
past it every day and I see all the work, so I feel as though it is in good faith that we can sign this.
All in favor, say aye.
I,
Any nay? And I'm going to abstain. So motion passes with a 3-1 abstention.
Mhm.
And I have printed it, so Brian, if you could sign that before you leave tonight. And,
Are you having him sign it just because your name is on all the paperwork?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
That's fine.
A little bit too much of a conflict of interest if I'm also like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool, yeah, and I'm also the advisor, and I'm also the project manager.
Yeah,
I'm also,
And I'd like to buy a car. for
Yeah,
you.
right.
right.
and we're gonna need a new vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4, items for next agenda. I think pretty easy to keep that update discussion amongst commissioners, the zoning code revisions.
And your
We'll have,
vacancy
And the
interviews.
we'll have our interviews.
That should be first.
and then will that be the same time? 6?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we'll have post.
but
we'll
it's
still
6
post it
to
at the same time.
7:30
It
technically.
is. We have some additional time to talk about our zoning code. If you think of anything else between now and then, you know what to do. Shoot me an email.
Sweet.
We'll add.
Amazing.
Any other?
I caught one in our minutes for the last meeting, and that is, we're busy making a motion and we do all this stuff, and then we go, oh, so we amend the motion. It is my belief that we never follow Robert's Rules of Order as written.
Right.
We do our version of it.
Mhm.
And in that version, do we not say, let's vote on the amendment and then the motion? Because what you're saying when you just vote on the motion is that you've missed the correction.
Yeah, you don't.
I believe it's, first, we're going to vote on the amendment because that corrects the motion. The other way we can do it if things are getting deep is we can say, I rescind my motion and I rescind my second.
Yeah.
And then the motion I really meant to make is the sky is blue, not turquoise. So, you know, you don't have to do a couple of things, but if there's an amendment, I think you're supposed to say amendment first and then motion.
Okay.
And like I said, I just caught it on that and went, oh, wait, there's an amended motion. Not a big deal.
Is that something we need to look up and confirm?
You could check with Aaron for process. How do they do it at the meeting?
Okay.
Because we all do an amended Robert's Rules.
Yeah,
A mellower
right.
one. We don't need the
It's
craziness.
too strict. if We were to do it that way.
So I leave it to you
Okay.
to say, you know, this is how we will do it always. So
Okay,
I just caught that. Okay.
thank you. Any others?
I would just, if we're gonna talk about tiny homes, et cetera, and that whole thing, I'd also, as one section, I'd really like to talk about sign thing too,
Mhm.
as a very specific, cause that whole temporary signs situation doesn't have a timeline.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just lived in places where 2 years, the grand opening sign is.
Well, I mean, I think
Like,
in fairness to
you're
that,
about to
like,
close, you didn't even make it.
I mean,
But I
that
think
harkens back a little bit to conversations we've had in the past when we were talking about the sign thing too, about like the blade signs and just like, what does it mean to have like a special event sign out, like, so.
Yeah.
I think it's important to keep talking about it, so.
Would you like to see it on the next agenda?
Well, but let me interrupt to ask, are we? Okay, one of the things for the next agenda then should be which ordinances are we talking about that night? So we'll, cause that's the sign ordinance.
Right.
This is the zoning ordinance.
Right.
That's the, you know, so you're right, we need it, but are we doing two that night or just one? I don't know. I'm just-
Right.
I don't know either.
Well,
Um,
discuss it that night.
let's keep the sign ordinance maybe as we don't have anything to talk about with zoning code because of how big zoning code is. Because we know that there are issues with the sign ordinance, but it's newer.
Oh.
And the zoning code is older and is gonna have a little bit more.
Okay, oh yeah, full with me.
Okay.
Great.
Well, then I would make an amendment. I'd like to amend this meeting into closed. No, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Perfect. Meeting is adjourned at 7:12. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Give me this piece of paper.